Hello students, welcome to Sunya IAS in this session of daily answer writing, that is DAW. We are today doing a session on question number 8. We have done question 7 so far. 7 questions have been done on GS2, and today we'll be doing a very interesting question. But before we start that question, I want to share with you one very small thing. In today's question, what I noticed was that when a question is coming where there are certain kind of complications in understanding the demand of the answer, demand of the question, then student are doing the biggest mistake. And that mistake is, what is that mistake? That mistake is of writing what we know. What is this mistake? Whenever you will be in exam scenario and you will be presented with a situation where there will be an abstract question, and in that question you will be not able to think about how to form the subparts, what you will end up doing is you will end up writing what you know about that question. And in this kind of situation you will not get more than 2 of 10 marks. You will only get 1.5 or 2 marks, not more than that, out of 10 marks. So what is this scenario of writing what we know rather than what is asked? We will discuss about this kind of scenario, and if there are these kind of questions, then how to frame the answer, right? So let's look at the question first. Question is saying, to what extent, question is saying to what extent does the erosion of political parties' credibility? So the question is on erosion of political parties' credibility affect the legitimacy of the democratic process in India. Give your arguments. And it is a 10 marker question. Now, as per I went through a lot of copies for this question, and what is the biggest mistake student is doing? Student is doing that they are not understanding the demand. I will tell that what they are writing, but let's first, from my perspective, from our perspective, let's see that what is the ultimate demand of the question. The demand of the question is, first of all, what are the keywords? Keywords are political parties and the other keywords is democratic processes. These are the two kind of keywords, basically two pointers from the syllabus where this question is made. Got it? Now, what is the exact demand of the question? The exact demand of the question is that there is some kind of erosion of political parties, and question is saying to what extent. So whenever there is erosion of political parties, there will be some kind of effect on the democratic nature. So we have to tell that effect, and we have to tell to what extent. If there is erosion of political parties, that does not mean that everything is going bad and the democracy is about to end in India. No, we also have to tell that what are the positive changes, or how the system is adapting. How the system is adapting. Ultimately, basically, you have to show that how democratic processes in India are still strong despite this development. Got it? This is another demand, and then you will conclude. So even in a 10 marker, you can see that how, if you are smart enough, how if you just pause for a while, you can make these kind of subparts. We will discuss what all points can be included in every subpart, but these are the different subparts. Got it? Now let's try to make the different kind of final subparts that we will make. We will include introduction. We will talk about erosion of political parties' credibility. Got it? Then we will talk about its effect on democratic processes. And here you will tell certain negative, and then you will tell the responses. And then you will conclude. So basically, in the effect on democratic processes, you will have to tell that what are the negative effects, and then you have to tell that what are the responses that have come from the whole system to ensure that the democratic processes remain healthy. I hope that this is clear, that what is the kind of flow that we are trying to make from introduction to this part, then this part, then this part. Now, firstly, I want to tell you that what are the kind of mistakes students are making. Students are making in trying to identify all of these subparts. Okay, what are the mistakes that we are able to see? First, let me show you those mistakes. So, one mistake is most of the copies after introduction, they ended up writing about role of political parties in democratic process. Question is nowhere asking you to tell that what is the role of political parties in democratic processes. No. Question is asking about decline or erosion in the political party's legitimacy. है ना? Question is not asking you what is the role of political party. So student is writing government making, how governments are formed on the basis of party elections that they contest, not asked in the question. Free and fair election forms the bedrock of democracy ensured through transparent, not asked. Right to equal opportunities achieved with equal participation, not asked. Access to democracy. Political party play important role in creating a vibrant citizenry through political consciousness. Example, even in local governance, political parties have access to remote areas. Question didn't ask you that what is the role of political parties in democratic processes. No. They are asking that certain kind of decline is happening in political parties and what is the effect on democratic processes, not what is their role. So even this point will not be getting counted. Welfareism is ensured through political ideologies. No. Despite writing in a good way, there is kind of a structure and everything. Candidate knows about how to write points. Even then, candidate is not able to basically understand that this is not the demand of the question. This is not within the frame of what is asked in the question. And that is the primary thing that you should understand. Okay. So this is a big mistake. No, not even 1 marks will be given for this part. You have shown your knowledge because just you know it. But this is not within the scope of the answer. I hope that, and I do not want to demotivate the candidate whosoever has written this answer. The rest of the part was okay, but you have wasted this much of subpart. You have wasted this much of part. This is not the demand of the question. Then achievements of political parties till now. This is a good way of presentation. This is a good way of presentation, but what the candidate is writing, what the subheading has been made by candidate is not appropriate. Question is not asking about the successes of political parties. What is the candidate writing? Promotion of political pluralism, making government accountable, flaw in policy, bring out the flaw in policy, facilitate free and fair election, promote democratic values. All of this is right. But is it asked in the question? You need to read question thrice. Read question 3 times. Always. Okay? And only then you will be able to finally understand that what is asked in the question and what is not asked. This is not asked. This, regardless of the good presentation, no marks will be awarded for this part. 0 marks will be awarded for this part. This is not asked. The candidate, again, I do not want to demotivate the candidate. Whosoever copies is this. The rest of the part was good or okay, right? I will show that part. But this part has not been asked. Okay? So avoid these kind of mistakes. How you can avoid these kind of mistakes? Read question thrice. Read question thrice. Try to make this kind of diagram in your mind. Try to make this kind of diagram in your mind, that what are the subparts that I'm clearly able to see from the question, and try to directly pick up the language. When you will directly pick up erosion of political parties, I have directly used it. When you will directly use the keywords from the question, you will not delineate from the demand of the question. So try to use the subheadings, try to use the subparts of the question, of the answer directly from the question. Effect on democratic processes, you directly use it from the question, है ना? तभी आप deviate नहीं करेंगे. This is the first thing that I want to tell at the start of the session. Got it? Now, in terms of introduction, let's see what kind of points we can make in the introduction. So what are the essential keywords that you are able to see in the answer, in the question? Political parties, and they are talking about the democratic processes. So you can tell that how in representative government, imagine a scenario where there is no representative government and there is a direct government. For example, in certain kind of European countries like Switzerland, there is direct democracy. There is even a scope for referendum. But in India, we have a representative democracy, that there are certain representatives that people elect, right? And those representatives are part of political parties. So you can show that how representative government in India has a form of representative government where political parties and their members, they represent the we the people in preamble. They represent the we the people in the preamble. What is we the people? If you will read the preamble, you will see that the first word in preamble is we the people of India having solemnly resolved to convert, so and on and on and on. So it is political parties that ensure the representative nature of the country. You can give this in the introduction. What else you can give? You can define political parties. How can you define political parties? That they are a group of people who have common ideology and they come together to form government. You can write this definition, that ultimately common parties are those kind of organizations who have common ideology. What else you can write? If you will think a little bit, you will be able to recall that under Article 19, we have right to association. That is, we have right to form a political party. Everyone in India has a right to form political party in India. है ना? So you can even start with that in India, political parties are so important because there is right to association under Article 19, under Article 19, that is freedom of expression, है ना? और क्या बता सकते हैं आप? You can tell that how political parties ensure interest aggregation. What is the meaning of interest aggregation? That in a society like India, there are a lot of different peoples from different communities, different languages, different region, people who eat different food, who follow different religion. So because of this kind of diversity, there are a lot of different interests in the society. And what political parties are doing are, they are acting as interest aggregator. They are aggregating, they are collecting the different interests in the society on the basis of these interests. So party A shows the interest of segment A of the society. Party B shows the interest of the segment B of the society. Right? That is what is happening. So you can tell that how political parties do the function of interest aggregation, and they ensure stability and different kind of democratic processes in India. Got it? और क्या करते हैं? और क्या करते हैं political parties? Political parties help in the participation of people. They help in the education of people. They help in mobilizing people. Political mobilization, political participation, political education. They even help in modernization. They help in socialization. What is all this? Political parties in India are not just there in India for the sake of coming in power. They are also there to help in socialization. What is socialization? That they ensure social harmony, different social issues, they can help in solving those problems. Modernization, they ensure that different kind of modern reforms are brought in. For example, if you see that there is a party who is based on Dalit politics, then they will ensure that modernity is brought in and different issues based on caste is removed. है ना? Mobilization, then they ensure that different interests are being mobilized on the basis of party lines. Participation, for example, if there are 100 people in the country and we want to ensure that all of them participate in the daily day-to-day governance of the country, then what do we see? That this participation is very important. Education, we see that how India had a very poor literacy rate, almost I think 10-15% literacy rate. And from today we have increased this education, basically literacy rates. So even political parties have a big role here. है ना? We see that how they educate people on basic issues. That is what is the role of political parties. So you can pause this video here and you can see that how you can generate good quality introduction and conclusion when there is a topic of political parties. Got it? And it is not like that you have to write everything. I have told you almost 10 points here, more than 10 points. है ना? You just have to pick 2 to 3 of it in the introduction and 2 to 3 of it in the conclusion. That is the goal. Now we will come to the main part. What is the main part? We have to talk about erosion of political parties. Right? That is the main subpart. Erosion of political parties. What is the meaning of erosion of political parties? If I talk in very simple terms, erosion of political parties means that the role which was envisaged for political parties, they are not able to fulfill that role. They are somehow dwindling in that role. They are not able to do their basically the obligations that are there on the political party that we just discussed. So when they will not be able to do their role, then we will say that a crisis is occurring and there is erosion of political parties. Got it? Now you have to generate points on it, but you are not able to think any kind of point. What are the basic points that you are able to, that you can generate without even knowing anything? Let's start with that. We know that, let's move with the model of 3F. What was 3F about? Funds, function, and functionary. Where did we learn about this model? We learned about this model in 2 to 3 classes back when we were talking about a question of Panchayati Raj. Right? So funds उठाते हैं. Vis-a-vis funds, what are we seeing vis-a-vis funds? Vis-a-vis funds, we are seeing that because of funding, because elections are very, very heavy in terms of funding, that's why we are seeing rise of money and muscle power. And because there is rise of money and muscle power, we are also seeing that there is rise of criminalization of politics. Ultimately, when criminals will enter the politics and there will be lot of money power involved, muscle power involved, don't you think that there will be erosion of political parties? Because ultimately, a common man will not be able to participate in this kind of process. They will not be able to get the tickets. They will not be able to fight election. They will be forced by the Bahubali. This, you can also call this as the Bahubali culture. That the strong man in that area who is fighting the election, he or she will force the voters to vote in their favor. That is why people will start getting delusional about the processes of political parties. They will think that political parties are not for our good. Got it? What else you can think? Because of this was about funds. Then about the function. What is the function of political party? Function of political party is all that we discussed, that they do socialization, mobilization, participation, education. But what we are witnessing is that these same principles, they are not adhering to those principles. They are not adhering to those functions in their own party. So here comes the third point, that there is lack of intra-party democracy. There is lack of intra-party democracy. What is the meaning of this? That there is rise of high command culture. That ultimately certain kind of senior leadership in the party who are not from the roots, who are sitting on the top, they are deciding about the future of the party. So there is rise of high command culture. Ultimately, even this leads to erosion of political party. People will believe that our local leaders are not getting an opportunity. Okay. What else we are seeing? Then let's come to functionary. What are we able to see from functionary? From functionary, we can tell what is the meaning of functionary. Functionary means people who are involved in any kind of organization. What do we see? That these parties, they are working on caste-based politics. You can also say how they are working on vote bank based politics. What is vote bank based politics? That certain kind of caste will just vote us. Yadavs will vote SP. Dalits will vote BSP. The Muslims will vote Samajwadi Party in UP. These kind of narratives harm the image of political parties. That if vote bank politics is there, then there will be total, basically, disbelief on the nature of political parties, because political parties should work for everyone. But these kind of vote bank based politics, they promote communalism. They promote communalism. Got it? What else do they promote? They promote minority based appeasement. Minority based appeasement. And ultimately, these are the different ways through which erosion of political parties is happening. What else is there? I hope that you have noted down these points because I will erase them. I hope that you can pause this video and you can note these points. Now let's see that what else other points are there. We are seeing that how there is freebie culture. How this freebie culture is also called ravedy culture. How political parties, they are almost bribing people by giving different kind of material benefits. 2000 rupees will be given, 3000 rupees will be given, free, everything is given free. So this kind of culture leads to erosion of trust on the political parties. Hai? What else do we see? That ultimately political parties, they also don't act on their manifestos. Every political party releases their manifesto, but most of them do not follow their manifesto, and this leads to trust deficit. Got it? Further, we see that how there are demands for nota. People are saying that we don't want to give vote to any of the parties. Even this is a sign of basically different kind of erosion of political parties. Then we see that how there is corruption. How there are different scams, 2G scam, coal scam, Commonwealth scam. So they basically erode the image of political parties. Then we see that how political parties, they are not public authorities. They say that we are not public authorities under the RTI Act. And that is why there is no transparency when it comes to their financial working, when it comes to their taxation. There is no public kind of knowledge on it. So even this erodes accountability and transparency. Hai? Then there is internal factionalism. Where can this be seen? Internal factionalism. This can be seen that how even within one party there are different kind of divisions which strengthen the unity of party, and it affects the party politics. Even that will lead to different kind of issues. Then we see that how defections are happening. How MP and MLA given vote to one political party, they jump to other parties when their government is falling. So this kind of case was there in Maharashtra. Then Madhya Pradesh, Goa, Arunachal Pradesh, almost all states have faced this issue. है ना? इसको क्या बोलते हैं हम? आया राम गया राम culture. So how even defections are leading to decline in the credibility of political parties. Then we can tell that how there is lack of ideology. Political parties, they do not have a coherent ideology, and their ideology can be compromised when their political interest is on the stake. And you can tell that how, for example, in the Maharashtra, the BJP was against NCP, but today they have a coalition with them. So you can give all these examples. Got it? Then there's one more thing you can tell, that how there is hate speech. How hate speech is rising, and how it has led to decline in the credibility of political parties. Now, I have shared with you almost 15 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I think 5, 6 points I shared with you before. You have to tell almost 7 to 8 points first, where you will tell in your examiner, your first subpart, that how there is erosion of political parties. This is a very important subpart. You have to first tell, to show the problem, to show the nature of the problem, that what kind of credibility shock is there. है ना? After writing this subpart, after writing 7-8 points, and while I was telling you these points, my goal is not that you write all these points. The goal is that if you will open your mind, there are so many points that you can write. I have shared you 15-16 points. I am sure that there are 10 more points. है ना? So all you need to do is that you need to think with a calm mind. That is it. Let's see that what are the kind of points that candidates were able to generate in their answers. Let's see some copies. So let's look at this copy. Very good and very neat presentation is here. If you will see corruption, horse trading, then the candidate is giving examples. For example, MLA in Maharashtra case, very good example. Overnight change of ideology, very good example. Breaking free of public, breaking trust of public. This is also good because example is giving. Lowering standard of political speeches. Just look at these examples. Pause this video and see these examples. You will see that they are crisp. They are filled with example. So examiner will be like, okay, this candidate has good understanding of the issue. Then let's look at this copy. Erosion of political party. Very good way of presentation. Criminalization of politics, use of money and muscle power, electoral bonds, there is anonymity there, paid news is there. This is unique dimension. We didn't cover this. How there is paid news, how media is playing a role in ensuring that there is bias when it comes to the political party system. Horse trading is there, caste-based politics is there, booth capturing is there. Very good way of presentation. Okay. So these are some unique ways to present the information when it comes to credibility, how the credibility is being questioned. Now we look at the other part. What is the other part? Effect on democratic processes. So now we will tell effect on democratic processes. In effect on democratic processes, you have to tell the most basic point, that how there is impact on voter turnout. Right? How the number of nota votes are rising. Okay? How there is policy paralysis. What is meaning of policy paralysis? Today there is one government, then there will be defections. Other party will come to power. They will bring in new kind of policy. So there is policy paralysis. Hai? Then we see that how because of this there will be rise in corruption. Because there are defections, because there are criminalization of politics, because there is money and muscle power, there will be rise of corruption in public life. Right? Then you have to tell that how even representation will be lacking. What is meaning of representation? If a normal candidate, if they are not able to come to a political party without money and they are not getting seat, then even representativeness is getting affected. है ना? Social fragmentation होगा. कास्ट के बेसिस पे आप कर रहे हैं तो सोशल फर्दर फ्रैगमेंटेशन हम ऑब्जर्व करेंगे. These are some of the trends you will show that how democratic process is affected. और भी आप इसमें बहुत सारे सिंपल सिंपल पॉइंट्स आएंगे कि वीकनिंग ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी होगी, जुडिशरी पे भी इम्पैक्ट आएगा, पार्लियामेंट के अंदर वी विल सी दैट हाउ देयर इज डिक्लाइन इन डिबेट, because ultimately what we are seeing that ultimately more and more disruption is happening within the parliament. Other four simple points can come. The innovation was in the earlier part. This one is relatively the simple part where you have to show that what are the impact. Okay, after this impact, now in the last sub part you can tell that what are the kind of positive changes that are coming because of this. Let's start with the institutions itself. You can tell that how we are seeing an active judiciary. We are seeing a judiciary who has become the protector of constitution. How? For example, we see that in Lily Thomas case. In Lily Thomas case, what did they say? They said that people who have criminal cases and the punishment is above 6 years, they will not be able to participate in the electoral processes, in the political parties. है ना? They are also asking political parties to be accountable. How are they asking them to be accountable? They are saying that they should act in a responsible manner. They should become public authorities under RTI. है ना? This is what judiciary is saying. Then you can tell that how even independent candidates, you can tell that how independent candidates who are not from any political parties, there is space in our democratic system that they can fight elections even without any ticket. If you are an independent candidate, you can do that, है ना? तो कैसे despite decline in political parties, we are seeing that no, there is democracy in India. You can tell that how there are formation of new political parties. Formation of new political parties. Example, AAP. You can tell that how if there was decline interest of political parties, then new political parties would not have gotten accepted. But how AAP has become a national party. How there is still belief in the political parties. Then you can tell how civil society, NGOs, they are coming in the space of governance. How, for example, you can tell that how, for example, Akshay Patra Foundation is involved in giving people the hot cooked meal food, है ना? So regardless of which party will be in power, they are responsible in some states for the hot cooked meals in the midday meal scheme. So how the civil society, how the NGOs, how different human rights organizations, they are also getting the space. Because we are moving towards, what is the other kind of positive response? We are moving towards whole of society approach. Got it? You can also tell that how media is keeping different political parties in check. Right? Different kind of social media organizations are also playing role. Then you can tell that how Election Commission of India is also bringing in different reforms. How they are making the voters aware. How they are putting pressure on the political parties through model code of conduct. So these kind of points will help you in establishing that no, everything is not wrong and there are some positives also. And now if there is, when you will come to the final part, way forward, if there is some space left, you can make a Sun diagram and again you can give certain kind of way forwards to help this issue. You can tell that how political parties should have intra-party democracy. You can tell how they should become public authorities under the RTI Act. You should tell how they should go for partial funding of elections. How they should publish the antecedents of different people who have criminal antecedents. They should publish it. है ना? How they should go for education and awareness of the people. How for defections there should be a law. because all these processes will ensure that political parties remain stable. How they should follow their manifestos. All the issues that we mentioned at the start of the question, you can conclude on those lines that how that can be solved. Though it is a 10 marker question, I understand that writing everything is tough. But my goal is that even if this question comes in a 15 marker, how you address that. Okay. And then how to have final words on conclusion. We discussed all these in the introduction, right? We discussed, sorry, not this one. We discussed about, if you will just push this video at the start, we discussed about the possible kind of introductions. So those kind of introductions, same 1 or 2 lines can be put at the end, that how political parties have a very important role in democracy. Got it? So in this session of DAW, this was a unique question and it was a tough question. Let me see that if there is any kind of best practice that is left. Yes, one best practice is left, and that is way forward. This is a very beautiful way of presentation. If you have just 2-3 lines left and you want to give 5-6 points, you can go for this way. What is the candidate saying? Ticket should be given to dedicated party workers. Then timely decision on speaker on anti-defection, very good point. Punishment for horse trading, again anti-defection के लिए है. No resort politics, ये भी anti-defection का है. Transparency in political funding, no compromise on ideology. So overall, if you see, the candidate has just a holistic understanding of the issue. Candidate is not even taking any name of committees or something, but still the candidate has been able to convey the examiner that I have a holistic understanding. Even the presentation is very good. So this kind of presentation is encouraged. Kudos to the candidate who has done this. I think even this candidate basically missed the demand at the initial part, because the candidate was telling about role of political parties in democratic processes. No, that is not in the demand of the question. Okay, but this part is good. So we also noticed all the good practices. Okay, I hope that you are benefiting from these sessions where we are learning from scratch the art of answer writing, that is DAW, daily answer writing sessions. You can also become the part of these daily answer writing sessions by enrolling yourself, where you submit these answers on a portal and we evaluate them within 24 to 48 hours. Okay, so we will come back again. Keep a check on this space, keep checking this playlist, where we will deposit all the knowledge of answer writing regarding the GS2 and further as we proceed even for different GS papers. Okay, thank you for watching it and best of wishes for your answer writing.